A hoax unfolds in Chicago, a town gets cucked in North Jersey, and your grandmother takes a 9-inch cock in her pussy. It's all going down in a fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap, and it starts right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. God, your dick is so good. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, 1 second. Let me unplug that. Oh, that's fun. Christ, Savage Sack Tap, Mike Montone, how are we doing? And holy shit, Grandma was getting it there. I can literally, you guys have to understand, I live in a, like a there are multiple units in this building, and I just had, that was just audio. I hope you could hear it on the live stream. I had to play it for the intro to the show. That was a grandma getting the absolute shit fucked out of her in the middle of her kitchen. Good fucking times. Did I introduce myself yet? Did I say this is the Savage Sack Tap and I am Mike Montone? I'm not sure if I did. In any case, this is the Savage Sack Tap. I am Mike Montone, and once again, that was what appeared to be, it's Diane Richards is the name, and she's got like 4 videos out there that are available on XTube, and she really takes a fucking dickin'. But there are, if you go on X videos or Pornhub, there are like just hundreds of pages of granny porn. Like you would be fucking shocked. And it's, if you jerk off to a lot of MILF porn, you understand this, because what they try to do is when you go on, it starts to get like a feel for what your taste is. So if you're on like a real MILF spree, then you'll start getting greeted on the homepage to these porn sites by a lot of MILF porn, and it's just like a drug dealer. Like, if you buy coke from a guy often enough, eventually he's gonna give you some meth or some ecstasy or some heroin or something, like a little goodie. He's gonna try to upsell you. He's gonna show you some of his other products. Well, this, I guess, is what the porn tube sites do to keep you clicking around. They try to like upsell you on the age of the woman getting fucked, so you go from watching, a woman in her late 30s, early 40s, get it on with the captain of the football team, and you're like, all right, this is pretty normal masturbatory fodder, and then the next thing you know, there's a related video being offered to you, and you're like, well, that that is one wrinkly fucking snatch. So yeah, people's grandmas are out there doing porn. Well, which is interesting in and of itself, and then you start breaking down the process, and it becomes fascinating, because, first of all, who is responsible for finding the grandma to do the porn video? That is one of, there are a great many interesting facets to this phenomena that is granny porn, but it's, how, who's the guy who his 9 to 5 involves going out and finding geriatric women to get rimmed out online is what I want to know. Where does this pool of 70-year-old women exist? Because let's be honest, if you want to find younger chicks to do porn, it shouldn't be that hard, right? You go to, Miami, LA, parts of New York, Vegas, wherever kind of loose women hang out, and you throw around some cash, some cocaine. You understand how you could convince a younger woman to get into pornography. It makes sense. You could be a hot young chick with no brain, and your body is your best asset. So you're dancing at a strip club, and some guy says, "Hey, you want to make a little more money?" And the next thing you know, you're a Brazzers star, fame and fortune, and your big bubble butt getting penetrated by 12 inches of veiny cock. But how does the woman go? How do you go from the nursing home to the porn set? I think is really interesting. Like, there's so many documentaries about porn, and it seems like none of them tackle this issue. You have to, like, where are the 70 plus year old women who are not only spry enough to do this, right? Because obviously, sex, a filmed marathon fuck session takes a reasonable degree of dexterity and endurance that I didn't think most senior citizens had. And then not only do you need them, they need to possess those qualities, but they also need to have the moral, be of the moral cut that allows them to think that getting fucked on camera at that age for others to sit around and masturbate to think that that's a swell idea. Like, that's like, is there like a cartel hanging around nursing homes just waiting for like 80-year-old women? She's developing a pretty nasty Coumadin habit. Yeah, I think a few more trips to the dealer and she's going to be hooked, and she'll probably have to pay off the habit with her body. Is that it? Some guy I grew up with wound up doing gay porn because of that, and so I just assume that maybe that's one of the pathways for people's grandmothers to do porn. They love their blood thinners so much, they've been taking so many they can no longer afford to pay for it, because look, let's be honest, you get to that age and you wind up on a very fixed income, so they say, what the hell, I only have a few years left on this earth. I'm not going to have to worry about the fallout or the consequences from these videos. Slip it in and just keep the pills coming, baby. I really don't understand how that, like, do you scout out, I guess maybe you scout out a nursing home dance and you wait for the gals who take their dentures out right before the after party. Those are the naughty girls, the ones that like to have a good time. Maybe slip them a cologne-scented business card. You're a beautiful girl. I can make you a big star. That's how they talked in the 1920s when most of these women were born. But yeah, what the fuck? Nothing. I don't think anything can really prepare you either for the shock that would come with seeing your grandmother doing internet porn, right? Because, like, you'd be sitting there all frothed up, ready to jerk off. Maybe you have a favorite MILF star. Maybe you've been pushing the envelope a little bit older and older on the videos that you've been jerking to a lot of. Sorry, I got these weird little hiccups here. Maybe you've been jerking to a lot of Nina Hartley, and all of a sudden there's the recommended videos. The average age is kind of getting up into the golden years there, and then all of a sudden you're just like, what the fuck? Grandma? Like, the woman that you have to walk step by step with her little walker from the front door to her car when she goes home after Thanksgiving dinner. She's the bum knee and the bad hip, but she's somehow pulling off a vigorous reverse cowgirl. What a confusing moment that would be. Now you know the truth about Grandma's shattered pelvis. I also want to meet the guy who isn't surprised when Grandma does porn. Like, he's clicking through. He's like, oh yeah, well, we're not happy about it, but I'd be lying if we said we didn't see this coming. She turned into a real tramp after Grandpa had that stroke. Actually, a couple months back, it was a nice sunny October morning. I stopped by to rake her leaves, and the lawn was already clear. There was a rake leaning up against the front door, so I walked inside, and turns out she had invited the landscaper in for a cup of coffee and some strip pinochle. So yeah, to say we're shocked would be a stretch. We knew this was an inevitability. Yeah, a lot lot of questions when Grandma starts taking cock on camera. It's just, the woman needs help eating a spoonful of peas and carrots. It's disconcerting to see her, hungrily devouring 8 inches of Eastern European dick, unclipped too. Does Mom know about this? Did I remember to use an incognito browser? Why are my boxer shorts covered in semen? All the kind of questions that one might ask when finding their grandmother doing porn. And no, I do not jerk off to granny porn that often. But anyway, moving on. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. Like I said, there are people milling about and opening doors and shit and getting ready to go about their days. So this is live radio. That's what you're fucking getting here. Live podcasting if you're watching on the live stream. Of course, if you're listening to this, you're probably just like, oh, this motherfucker produces hot garbage and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But anyway, suck my dick. Speaking of people who suck dick, Swell water bottles. If you don't know what these are $50 metal water bottles. You've seen every asshole at your office walking around filling one up. And it's something I kind of ranted and went off about it over the summer because, summertime, you got more people paying attention to their hydration because it's hot as fuck and everyone's walking around sweating their taints off. But, yeah, I found out that these stupid metal water bottles that people are using cost like $50. What the fuck is that? It's just so stupid. I'm not going to spend that much time on this, but I had to look this up because I found out how much these stupid fucking things cost, and then I got really mad. It's the justification in this. The Atlantic did an article about this, by the way. The Atlantic is doing articles about these stupid metal water, but that's how you know a social phenomenon has reached just a fevered pitch of idiocy. Is that the Atlantic is doing think pieces on them, and here's kind of the justification that came up at the end of the article. It says, for a lot of people, they spark a little bit of joy in an otherwise mundane routine of work, exercise, and personal hygiene. How awful is your life that a water bottle brings you joy? Like a mundane routine of work, exercise, and personal hygiene? Like they're making the people who use these sound like fucking like North Korean automatons, just trying to buck the trend a little bit, get away with any fucking smidgen of freedom they can. Like the kid in Footloose. Like, we go, town's run by this uppity preacher. He won't let us have any fun, but once in a while we hang out in a barn and dance. Like that's I guess the Office Drone's version of getting together with his friends in a barn and dancing is using a $50 water. I mean, if you're bored at work, just go to the bathroom and jerk off. You can stream HD porn everywhere. Even you don't even need to connect to your office's Wi-Fi. Just use a data connection. If exercise sucks, engage in more intense exercise shouldn't be if your workouts are mundane, I fucking hate you. You should work out like a motherfucking savage, son. And then, I don't know, hygiene. Yeah, hygiene's boring. Brushing your teeth is not exciting. Like, there's no way to step that up. And I don't know where the water bottle would fit into hygiene anyway, but if you want to punch your hygiene up a little bit, go get your asshole waxed, or maybe your taint or something like that. If there's dripping hot wax, fucking spread from your ball sack through your asshole, I guess is a little bit more exciting than just brushing and flossing and swishing around and spitting out. If you can hear what sounds like a blender going off upstairs, I don't know if it's a blender or a vacuum. There's some sort of weirdo white noise in the background, though, so you'll just have to, we'll all just have to contend with it. Like I said, communal living. Isn't that fun? Because I am too broke to be a homeowner. Yeah, anyway, I guess the point I'm making is, if you use a $50 water bottle, you're a fucking asshole. Oh, this is fun. My hometown hates veterans, apparently. No, actually, it seems like my hometown loves veterans because most people in town came came rushing to our defense. And I'm not gonna. I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's just like just a quick little snippet. But so I grew up in Glen Rock, as you know, Glen Rock, New Jersey. And Glen Rock has taken a little bit of a turn towards the aggressively progressive liberal, I guess is the best way to put it. And the local Veterans Hall, or Foreign Legion, wanted to hold a drawing contest for the elementary school kids, and they had a picture of soldiers, like one from the Revolutionary War, guy from World War I, World War II, fucking Vietnam, modern day. He's all kind of lined up and holding their weapons in their uniform. The way you might picture, I don't know, a fucking soldier. And parents at this school, and I'm gonna single it out, fucking Hamilton School. I think if you grew up in Glen Rock, you assumed it would have been Coleman, the loser school. But it turned out it was Hamilton School that the parents called the principal. And the principal said, our students will not be participating in this because kids drawing a picture of a guy holding a gun is inappropriate, and it creates an unsafe environment for the children to learn in, or some such fuckery. Like, I have so little respect for this that I'm not even going to pull up the article with their actual bullshit reasoning. Just, I assure you it was along those lines. I'm well enough versed to tell you that. But it's fucked up because, not only was this is, Glen Rock, New Jersey, town of 11,000, had 11 people killed on 9/11. I think it was like the highest death percentage in the country on September 11th. But I think I'm just counting off the top of my head guys that I know, and this doesn't take into account dudes from like other classes and shit. I think we had like over a dozen post 9/11 vets from Glen Rock, and that's, like I said, that's just my class and dudes who graduated before me. I'm sure coming after me there was like a slew of guys. So they could be looking at something like a couple dozen post 9/11 veterans coming out of the town, including one, by the way, who was wounded horribly in the Battle of Fallujah and is a lifelong friend of mine. So it's kind of just embarrassing and fucking shameful that this town that has long had this kind of proud history of service and what we went through back in 2001 with the 9/11 attacks, that people who live there now have just have this complete fucking lack of respect. And it's indicative of what you see from a lot of people on the far left, that to just you have to live in their little world, in their ideological bubble, and if you don't, there is clearly something wrong with you, and it's very black and white. They actually, in the world of mental health, which I have been studying a lot lately for reasons I don't want to get into on this show because they're incredibly sad, they call that splitting, where you can only see things in absolute one. We could probably get behind those two, right? Establishing the United States land of freedom and democracy, and the other one, making the world safe from fucking fascism. So I feel like, maybe you let the fucking gun thing slide is what I'm saying. But yeah, the good news is this hit Facebook, and the townsfolk grabbed their pitchforks for once for a worthy cause, and usually these jackasses are arguing over fucking parking spots and train schedules and garbage collection, and it's terrible. The suburban problems are just that's mundane. Maybe they need $50 water bottles. But yeah, the people got pissed. They were like, hey, fuck you. This is a town of many proud veterans. And finally, the district caved, and they were like, look, the fucking school can't prevent kids from entering this contest. We'll leave it up to the parents. If the parents want to be stupid and spit in the faces of Glen Rock's combat veterans, by all means, let them. For the rest of us who have half a fucking brain, by all means, enjoy your contest, and good luck with the drawings. So that's that. Other little bits. John Wayne apparently was a big racist. Yeah, apparently the Duke hated the blacks and the gays. The internet was in an absolute uproar over this. I have quotes, but honestly, it's just a massive fucking nothing burger. when was John Wayne like? The interview was from 1971, and even then he had to be kind of in his autumn years. I can't imagine he lived much past the late 70s or early 80s, right? I mean, he did not. It wasn't like John Wayne was getting up and having like a fucking kale shake every morning. Like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember my Family Guy correctly, he drank only he subsisted on a diet made entirely of black coffee and beef jerky. Is that can we get that? Can I get a producer to fact check that? I don't have any producers. Fuck. But yeah, who gives a shit? What? The guy's not even alive. Like, what was I guess some guy, like some professor or something like that, or some journalist just found the interview and tweeted some screen grabs of his quotes where he's like, yeah, the Negro and the homosexual are inferior. That's like a 1950s guy voice, but John Wayne didn't. I've never attempted a. I mean, I guess Full Metal Jacket would be the closest. I don't even know if the fucking last time I watched a John. Listen here, Pilgrim. I don't hate the blacks and the gays, but I sure as hell don't respect them. I don't know if that's a good John Wayne. I haven't. When the fuck was the last time I heard John Wayne's voice? I don't know. Who gives a shit? The point is, some of history's greatest thinkers had some somewhat racist tendencies, right? Fucking Einstein, Washington, fucking Ben Franklin probably hated everybody. That guy was a smart motherfucker. All of these guys, racist, homophobic views. It's just the time they lived in. They weren't privy to all of our social advancement. Yeah, you can probably hear the garage. Fuck! This fucking thing. The audio record. Fucking hate this. There it goes. Slightly better. Things fucking crawling. This probably means I have to delete a bunch of shit off my computer. I apologize if you tuned into this seeking some form of entertainment, not delivering right now. Apologies. But yeah, the point is, John Wayne is an actor who was best known for playing a cowboy and walking around calling people Pilgrim. I don't know what. He's been dead for a while. I have no idea why the internet chose to get into an uproar over this. It seemed like one of those things we could probably just keep in the attic. I don't even know why you pulled that out. That's just take it. The next time you have a garage sale, put it out on the front lawn. That's just something nobody gives a shit about. I honestly, the only reason I even brought up the story is because one of my favorite scenes in Donnie Brasco is when they're all sitting around the pool in Florida and they're reading the paper and one of them says, you believe that John Wayne died? And I think it was Nicky? Yeah, I think it was him. Just looks at, just deadpans. Fucking Indians got him. It's just one of the best lines in a movie filled with great lines, and I don't know if enough people appreciate that moment. But yeah, fucking Indians got him is absolutely perfect. I love it. Anyway, before I move on to the main thing that I wanted to discuss today, which I've been fucking obsessing over for quite some time now, I have to throw out the social media plug. Facebook.com/The Savage Crew, Twitter @Mike Montone, Instagram @Gary_Moyler, MOYLER, and you can find the audio podcast at thesavagecrew.libsyn, LIBSYN.com. And please, if you enjoy it, again, like I said, this morning's been a little bit of a slight clusterfuck. But if you do enjoy the show, please share it with your friends. I'm a broke-ass motherfucker paying student loans, living in a studio apartment, so paying for advertising at the moment is not really a possibility. But with your help, I don't have to. No, actually, I probably should. But do me a solid, send it around, share it with people if you like what you're seeing. I don't charge for this hot fucking garbage. You may as well help. Yeah, that's good justification. That won't. Yeah, people will listen, right? No, probably not. What am I really talking about today? The Jussie Smollett saga continues to unfold. I fucking love this story. It changes every day, and it's been kind of reaching the point that it's gotten to now, which I will get to in a moment. I couldn't even take notes on it because I didn't know where we were going to be when I woke up this morning, and I woke up to some absolutely delightful news. So let me Let me get to that right now. And I'm using a CNN.com article because I really want to relish the fact that they have to fucking eat crow. Them and the rest of the mainstream fucking media have to eat crow on this. Here we go. Empire actor Jussie Smollett faces a felony charge of disorderly conduct for allegedly filing a false report claiming 2 men attacked last month. A Chicago Police Department spokesman tweeted Wednesday night. So I guess he's going to have to surrender, and it is, a Class 4 felony punishable by 1 to 3 years, although I feel like he'll probably, if he does he won't go to prison, but if he did, I have a feeling he might enjoy himself. His transformation from victim to suspect in a reported attack that captured national headlines came on the same day that a high-ranking police source said Chicago detectives were working to obtain the actor's financial records. So basically what happened was a couple weeks ago, this Empire actor Jussie Smollett comes out and says that he was jumped and beat up by these two guys who were yelling anti-black and homophobic slurs at him, and they yelled this is MAGA country, and they put a noose around his neck, and everyone was like, wow, this is that's fucking terrible, because if something like that did happen, that would be a terrible thing. It would be, it's wrong to attack someone over their sexuality or their skin color, but the story kind of began to fall apart as more of the details came out. It turns out he claimed that he was going out at 2 o'clock in the morning to get a fucking Subway sandwich, which, if you've ever eaten Subway, first of all, nothing is luring you out of the house at 2 a.m. for a Subway sandwich. I don't care how fucking high I don't care if you were stoned and fucking 7 months pregnant. No one at 2 a.m. is like, you know what I could really go for is a Subway sandwich. You could be walking past an open Subway starving at 2 a.m. and no one's like, oh my God, could I go for a $5 footlong right now? It's just disgusting and off-putting. And Subway is one of those things that you eat because there is no other option. That's it. No one goes out in search of Subway, particularly at 2 o'clock in the morning, and particularly on the coldest night in the history of the world. It was during that week where it was so cold in Chicago that even people in Chicago were like, wow, this is just fucking awful. So it began to get a little suspicious, and then he says that they called him Empire Faggot or something like that, and put a noose around his neck, but the noose was just a piece of string, and he left the noose on for the entire walk home, and other inconsistencies, he was on the phone with his agent or something like that at a time, right? Just one of those regular 2 a.m. calls to your agent while you're out getting a sandwich. So the entire thing started to fall apart, and then so they have it turns out these brothers, I love it. Two law enforcement sources with knowledge of the investigation have told CNN that police believe Smollett paid two brothers to orchestrate an assault on him. Surveillance video obtained from a Chicago area beauty supply store appears to show the brothers connected to the incident purchasing a ski mask, sunglasses, a red hat, and other items the day before the alleged assault on the actor. The January 28th video shows two men shopping. They paid in cash, said the owner, who wishes not to be identified. The video was turned over to police on Friday, the owner told CNN. The two brothers were arrested and released in connection with the attack. met Tuesday with police and prosecutors at a Chicago courthouse, police spokesman Tom Ahern said. The county's top prosecutor, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox, Fox with 2 X's, she fucks, has recused herself from the investigation, according to the spokeswoman from her office. Gloria Schmidt, the attorney for the brothers, told reporters Wednesday that her clients had not accepted a plea deal or immunity. You don't need immunity when you have the truth, she said. The brothers were paid by the actor, she said, but the amount is not fitting the narrative that is out there now. I don't know what that means, but yeah, so there's these 2 brothers. So it was 2 guys that apparently kicked his ass, and I guess they were wearing red hats, maybe not MAGA hats, but red hats. One little problem. They weren't the white rednecks that were reported, the white black-hating rednecks, I should say, that were initially reported to have been the perpetrators of this heinous crime. It turns out they were 2 brothers from Nigeria who apparently work on the show Empire. Oh, fucking my. I just absolutely love it. And they're fucking jacked, too. Like my father says, they will soon have a reality show of their own. We can only hope, I guess, right? Let's see. In a joint statement issued to CNN affiliate WBBM, the men said, "We are not racist, we are not homophobic, and we are not anti-Trump. We were born and raised in Chicago and are American citizens." I guess they're just like, we have no dog in this fight. Oh, fucking, this is so fucking good. The brothers are now cooperating with law enforcement. Oh, this is great. Yeah, I love this fucking statement, because he did an interview on Good Morning America, and they softballed the shit out of him. They were just like, "And how do you feel as a victim to hear people question your story?" And he was like, "Pissed off. I'm pissed off." And it turns out that he wasn't pissed off. He was what do they say? Full of shit is the phrase we're going for. Smollett's attorneys Todd S. Pugh and Victoria P. Henderson. What's up with attorneys throwing their middle initial into everything? Can I get a lawyer to answer that one? They issued a statement Saturday describing their client as angry about allegations that he orchestrated the attack. Let's look at this statement. As a victim of a hate crime who has cooperated with the police investigation, Jussie Smollett is angered and devastated by recent reports that the perpetrators are individuals he is familiar with, the statement said. He has now been further victimized by claims attributed to these alleged perpetrators that Jussie played a role in his own attack. Nothing is further from the truth, and anyone claiming otherwise is lying. Smollett is openly gay, and I guess he plays a gay character on the show Empire. Yeah, and I guess police were told that the 2 men yelled "Empire faggot" and "Empire." To save myself, I'm not going to use. We can have a discussion about whether you can use this word editorially or not, but I'm not going to roll the dice because it's 2019 and I don't have the fuck you money to do it. So Empire N-bomb, you know what it means. Moving on. In a supplemental interview with authorities, Smollett confirmed media reports that one of the attackers also shouted, "This is MAGA country," a reference to President Donald Trump's "Make America Great Again" campaign slogan. Yeah, except that apparently didn't happen. And this is kind of an interesting wrinkle, and I'm not sure where this has what to make of this, because no one's really said much about it. But 7 days before the attack, he apparently got a letter containing white powder. It was, I guess, sent to the set of Empire, and they say it includes a message that was apparently cut from magazine clippings and a stick figure drawing. And Smollett told ABC News the drawing was of a stick figure hanging from a tree which had a gun pointed towards it. So I guess whoever wrote this letter hates black guys so much that not only were they going to hang one of them, but if the hanging didn't work, or if it was taking too long, and they got frustrated with the time it took to kill the Empire faggot, they were just going to shoot him anyway. So they were going to go to all that work to perform a public lynching of a well-known actor, and then they were just going to cash in all their chips and shoot him. So that's I don't know. This is the best way to describe this, and obviously this is not a novel fucking take, is that people have said this and it makes perfect sense, is that this is what an actor would think, like a person with no concept of reality, which is what a lot of well-paid actors are. This is like what they would think of a horrible hate crime. Like if they had to script one for a network drama, and like this is almost out of, like, Empire could run this as a plot line, and I'd be like, this makes sense for Empire. Just preposterous, over the top, it just really taking different sort of bullshit tropes about, racism and Trump voters and everything, and throwing them together in this absurd pastiche of what you think that the hate crime against Jussie Smollett would look like. Just absolutely fucking absurd, and to think that it would all play out at, like, the guy would, like, I don't get what's the guys are staking your place out in case you make your regular 2 a.m. subway run, and they're like, now is the time to strike. Like, that, it just does not make sense. Smollett gave his first detailed account last week of what he said was a hate crime against him and the aftermath in an interview with ABC's Good Morning America. This is what I'm talking about when I said they softballed him, and this is his response. It says, "It feels like if I had said it was a Muslim or a Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot much more. And that says a lot about the place where we are as a country right now." Smollett said one of the attackers shouted, "This is MAGA country," before punching him in the face. And then he denied reports that he told police the attackers wore Make America Great Again hats, which it sounds like he just can't keep his fucking story straight, because the guys were, I guess, buying red hats, unless, I don't know, maybe they didn't wear them, they couldn't fit them over the fucking ski mask. I never said that, he told ABC's Robin Roberts. By the way, Robin Roberts? What the fuck is wrong with your parents? They couldn't come up with a first name that didn't start with Rob? Dopes. I didn't need to add anything like that. They called me a faggot. They called me an N-bomb. There's no which way you can cut it. I don't need some MAGA hat as the cherry on some racist Sunday. And that's the end of the article. Yeah. Wow. And that's actually, I kind of like that. That's a little poetic. The MAGA hat as the cherry on top of a racist Sunday, because if you think about it, what would two white guys in black ski masks and red MAGA hats, that actually would look like a sundae, because it's white, and then the black ski mask is sort of the hot fudge, and the MAGA hat is the cherry on top. That is a lot of fun. But this is I think that interview, the GMA interview, for me is sort of the ice cream in the sundae, or is it the hot fudge? I guess it's the hot fudge on top of the sundae, and the criminal charges are the cherry on top, because I love how full of shit he is. Like, you can really see through it. Like, when you watch the interview, he's obviously acting. Like, he is giving, again, he's, not to steal the hot take that everyone else has had about this being straight out of, like, a fucking Law and Order episode or something like that, but he is giving the interview response that he thinks that character, the character of the guy who was beat up in a horrible hate crime, would give. He's not giving the the natural Jussie Smollett was a victim of this horrible crime response. He read the script and said, "What's my motivation here?" And that's the response he gave. And I think anyone who saw it, who viewed it with an ounce of skepticism, looked at it and said, "This guy's full of shit." Because I think if you saw that and you listen to him, you're like, "Oh, this is like it's like he's doing a bad audition for a role." Like the interview was, and that's what. Look, this has kind of sparked a little more argument online about the role of the media today, and people are saying, well, the media never question this narrative because, right, journalism is supposed to be skepticism, right? A journalist is supposed to hear something and say, but wait a minute, I have a few questions, and that didn't happen in the Good Morning America interview. The Good Morning America interview wasn't convince us that this happened, that this isn't a hoax. The Good Morning America interview approached him from the point of view that this had in fact happened, that we could confirm that it was not a hoax. What would you say to people who say it's a hoax, right? They're not going out and saying, we believe you, but what they are doing is saying, we're going to give you the platform to tell people that this actually did happen, and we're not going to put you through any kind of scrutiny whatsoever, which is, it's disingenuous and it discredits the media. And because people are like, once it started to unfold, people were like, hey, media, do your fucking job on this one. And a lot of liberals on Twitter and media members like, well, what do you mean do our jobs? We called it an alleged attack. Yeah, but you kind of took it and ran with it, and the sort of the blogosphere, I guess. I think that like maybe not the fucking newspapers and shit of the world, but the mainstream blogs that have kind of come to double as news sources, and celebrities who are very vocal on social media, all of those people now who constitute the American left were not, there was no questioning of this. They just kind of took it and ran, and people saw microcosms of that, the Lincoln Memorial run-in between the MAGA kids and the Indian, where it was like, oh, hey, you guys just see an angle to a story and you run with it without fact-checking or without doing anything, but you're also the ones who get riled up whenever Trump calls you fake news. So which is it? Like, do you reach for stories and for angles that make minorities and progressives of any kind look oppressed and make Trump voters look bad? Or do you approach things, from sort of a level playing field? There's like an even dealer in the whole thing. And what the last couple stories have shown is that they won't do that until, evidence that runs contrary to their position is rubbed in their face. So it's stories like this. I think the reason that people kind of like relish them is that it makes a Hollywood actor look like an asshole, because you have this. I said this on a different live stream I was on yesterday. You have this sort of Hollywood elite who they attempt to force their morality on Americans, while we have caught them fucking pants down, unable to enforce that morality on themselves. Right? Like, what is this? The Harvey Weinstein and the Kevin Spacey and all this other shit, where it turns out that vulnerable people were being victimized horribly by who else but rich white dudes for fucking decades. And you all stood there and applauded each other and talked about how, Harvey Weinstein was the genius that made it all happen. It turns out he was the genius that made it all happen. We're just not talking about movies, but, fucking people like Meryl Streep and just the entire roster out there, where they approach the rest of this country with this smug, righteous indignation, and their own house isn't even in order, but they're going to kind of shame and chastise the rest of us for things. So when one of them gets caught doing something like this, and it's like, oh, these people are all full of shit just like everyone else, because people are full of shit, right? Most people are completely full of shit. When it comes out and when they're exposed in such grand fashion, and again when it happens with the media, like with the Covington Catholic kids, it's almost beyond Schadenfreude, because it's not that something is bad. Like Schadenfreude would be like if I thought Jussie Smollett was an asshole and I saw him trip down some stairs and I laughed. I guess that would be Schadenfreude. We're not laughing at something bad happening to someone. We're laughing at someone doing something, this is malicious, and getting exposed for it. If this is against Trump voters, like again, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I didn't want Donald Trump to be the fucking president. I find him wildly entertaining, but if I had my druthers, we'd have a different POTUS. But this is to go out and lie and say that you were attacked by 2 Trump voters and to portray them as this violent caricature of everything that they've kind of been described as. I mean, like, you pretty much made it seem like the 2 worst guys from the Charlottesville rally represent all Trump voters, and they just jumped you on the street when you were just minding your business, going to get a fucking a chicken club at Subway, chips and a soda. Just full of shit. You deserve to be exposed. The way the media deserved to be exposed when we found out that those Covington Catholic kids didn't do anything. Like, it's just, if you're constantly pointing and wagging a finger at people, when you eventually get caught doing something fucked up on your own, people are going to enjoy it. And that is what's going on now, and we're all having a good time with it because this guy, it just comes off as a complete fucking self-righteous, self-centered tool. So that is that. We are probably, I guess, just under an hour. This is going to turn out to be like a 45 or something like that. I guess I could have jumped on a different topic, but I didn't because I thought this would take longer. I got distracted by some tech issues and the door opening and closing, and this is not a radio studio, but that turned out decent. Well, you got to start the episode by hearing a grandma get fucked doggy style in her kitchen on camera, and we pontificated about that for a bit. You can't go wrong, can yous? But anyway, what did I want to say? I'm actually leaving this afternoon to head down to spring training, Port St. Lucie, Florida, the New York Mets. A little father-son trip with my brother and the old man. That should be a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll get some good material out of that for next week's show. I'm not positive if I'm going to do the Thursday morning live stream next week. I don't know. I may record down there. I'm not sure. I got to figure that out. There should be some kind of episode out next week. I'm just not sure when it's going to be posted. So, the usual, just watch the page for that. This one I'm going to try to get up in a few minutes because I've got to get to the gym and then get ready for the flight. But yeah, fucking ridiculous world that we live in. I will get back to doing the Sack Tap lives, like the wake up live streams in the morning. The reason I haven't been is that I've been using my free time to work on putting together a clip show because I'm trying to promote the podcast out to like some pod networks and stuff like that, to maybe see if I can find somewhere to get a bigger audience, and that takes time and energy, so I haven't been able to do the morning shows. Once that's put together, I plan on getting back on for a Sack Tap live a couple times a week. So if you're one of the people who usually used to watch those, they're not gone. They're just temporarily shelved because I only have so many hours in a week to work on this shit. But once again, thank you for tuning in. Social media, facebook.com/The Savage Crew. If you're watching this on the live stream, you already know that. At Mike Montone on Twitter, at Gary_Moyler, Moyler on Instagram, and the website where you can download the MP3 for the podcast, thesavagecrew.libsyn, LIBSYN.com. And the show is also available everywhere else that a podcast can be downloaded: iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, fucking Pocket Cast. We're everywhere. Everywhere. If you can download a podcast there, you can probably find the Savage Sack Tap. But if you're not sure, just Google the Savage Sack Tap, and it'll all come up. Or go to the Facebook page. Like I said, I have a link to everywhere our podcast appears is up pinned to the top of the page. So you really can't fuck this one up. That is it for this week. Everyone have a lovely weekend. I have to take a dump and get to the gym. All right. Laters.